All right, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we have a wonderful guest here today. And you are, let's see, the athletic director, correct?
That is correct, yep.
Yes, Waylon Massie is here, and we are going to talk about all things Jackson High School sports, Jackson sports in general, and also the media team and all of the integrations that have kind of come to fruition through, well, that stupid COVID word,
Yeah.
but some other fun things that have kind of come along the way, and you all do such an amazing job, and the kids do an amazing job, and we can't wait to find out all about it today.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Yes, so we will be talking about so many things to do with Jackson sports. So first off, we have another message, and then we will be back and talk with Waylon Massie about, Jackson sports.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back with Jackson Athletic Director Waylon Massie, and there's so many things to talk about, I don't even know where to start.
It's been a crazy summer for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, and I always tease Phil Howard about this. I'm like, well, it's summer, you're at home by your pool eating bonbons, right?
Yeah.
Like, school's out, so you
Right.
don't do anything.
It's exactly right. Yeah, my wife stopped in at the end of June, and with summer school and sports and summer leagues, she said, it doesn't look like school's even closed. I said, no, we get about 3 weeks in July where it slows down, and then we're right back at it.
A little bit.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're still working year round,
yeah.
but you get like a little tiny break, but
It
yeah.
slows down. It doesn't stop. It slows down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and let's just be honest. Sports now are year round, and it's just a thing, and
Yeah.
that's how it is. So,
Absolutely.
you know, we were talking off the air about something that Jackson has done, and I think some of the other school districts have done. And this isn't. I don't even know if this is on our list to talk about today, but doing some fundraising or whatever and I think this is so very important to let each and every student get into the games for free.
Yeah.
And that's something that got started, I don't know, a few years ago.
Yeah, that was started by our last girls basketball coach, Matt Walburn, who's now retired on us, gave up on us. But
Hi, Matthew.
Yeah, hi, Matt. So Matt realized that we had not a very good atmosphere for our students, especially in the winter sports. And the FAC was looking to raise their ticket prices from $5 to $7. And Matt and Mr. Howard worked out an agreement where if Matt could raise a certain amount of money, that all of our kids could get in for free for a year. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And he did that all on his own, so it was awesome for Matt to do that. And he did all the fundraising himself the first year. So he was able to raise the money, and kids got in for the calendar year, starting with basketball season, all the way through. And it was wonderful, and I think Matt did it the second year, and he retired, and it's kind of fallen on the athletic department's lap. So we're in our, I think, third year of doing that. So for the last 5 years, any Jackson City Schools kid, K through 12, gets into any home event, high school or middle school, for free.
You know, and as they should, because it's win-win for everybody.
It is, yeah.
You know, student athletes love to have their peers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's nobody in the stands, like, that's no fun.
Right.
And it's also no fun to not be able to go and support your friends. And money shouldn't be an object.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably heartbreaking for parents to tell the kids, no, we can't do this
Hey,
game
all
or that game.
my friends are going to the game
Right.
tonight. Can I have money to do it? No.
And like you said off air, we never want that to be an experience for a kid to not be able to do something because of finances. So we have seen a huge uptick. I don't know the exact number because we don't have the data of how many kids go to each event. We just don't have the means to track it, but you can see it. And now we've got...
And you can hear it.
Oh, you can hear it. And I'm sure if you ask any of our basketball kids,
you can
our
feel
volleyball
it in the
kids,
air.
in the gym where everything's close to on top of you, can really tell a difference there. Some of the other sports, they're a little farther back, but it's been great, and the kids have had to kind of learn from square one how to be a student section again. When I started teaching 20 years ago, we had a great student section, and that kind of died off, and I think anyone's been the last couple years. I know it works because I've heard opposing coaches complain about us, about how loud we are.
Yes,
you don't,
we're
you
loud mouths.
We don't, we don't want to be over the limit, but we want to be right to that limit. And our kids have done a great job, and they're learning how to do it properly and be respectful, but be loud. And I think you can see that. Our sports have had such good records the last couple of years, and I think that's great. And I just wanted to thank everyone. We just had that drive last week. We sent out 2 weeks ago, I guess. We sent out about 40 athletes from different sports to different businesses. We got some checks and donations on the spot. We got a lot of people who said, let us talk to somebody and get back with you. And we've had checks coming in. So we really appreciate that. I haven't counted the amount this week. My secretary's out, but I'm sure we could use every dollar if we hit that limit or that goal that Mr. Howard's asked of us. We'll just put the next amount toward next year's fundraising.
And that's the thing. Understand that if you do donate, it's not going to then just go in somebody's pocket or whatever. It's going to go to help the kids next year.
Yeah, it does.
Which is great.
That's right. Yeah, I mean the athletic department basically runs no profit. So everything that we bring in turns around and goes right back to kids or like I said, here to the district to allow the kids to get in for free.
So if somebody that's listening today, and again, if it's $10, if you can pay for one kid to get into one game.
Right, yeah, any amount. Well,
cool.
we didn't set a limit because we didn't want to price people out. So yeah, anything from $10 up to if you want to pay the full amount that Mr. Howard's asked, feel free. You can call the Jackson High School athletic office and ask for me, Waylon Massie, or Jennifer Brenner, my secretary. You can send a check to Jackson City Schools and just put student ticket drive in the memo. You can stop by and chat, and if you have any questions about where this money is going or what we're doing with it, feel free to stop by and chat with me. Office will be awful busy starting tomorrow. We open up our reserve seats sales and our senior sales and our senior passes. So all that opens up tomorrow in person at 9 a.m. So I'm sure Jennifer will be very busy tomorrow trying to sell those. But if you want to stop by and talk this student ticket drive, I'd love to talk to you.
And if you want to just throw a check in the mail to where would they send that?
You can send it to the high school, so 500 Vaughn Street, Jackson High School, and if you just make it the check out to Jackson City Schools.
And then make sure you put it in the memo line.
Right now, anything we're getting in is pretty much for that. It's really all that we're working on drive-wise, so we're kind of assuming that's where it goes. But if there's ever a question, we'll reach out and say, do you want this for the student ticket drive? But yeah, that'd be great.
Very good. So that's just one way that you can help. And, the kids are out working so hard. And, I've mentioned this a lot on the show, and this is not knocking football or basketball or baseball, but there are so many opportunities now for kids to be athletes of all kind of different things, like the esports, and then the bass fishing team, which killed it this year, and there's so many other things going on now, and I think that's so amazing.
It is. It's great. I mean, we see people wearing JIs that I don't know 10 years ago they would have ever had that chance because not everyone's blessed with the athletic body.
The football talent.
The football talent. Some of us need other avenues, and esports has been great. Our middle school esports team won the state chess title in the spring, which is something I went down and celebrated them.
Awesome.
So that was great. Bass fishing, obviously, you saw they just put a documentary out because they made it we had kids make it all the way to the nationals.
Yep.
I mean, it's great, and even some of the sports that are I think sports like cross country that are super accepting of every kid and that environment. That's the best environment. I tell people since I've been athletic director, a cross country environment is the best, most supportive environment I've ever seen.
Really?
The parents cheer the kid who wins, and they stay until the last kid, might be 45 minutes later, comes stumbling across the line, still cheering. The support from the kids. Some kids will finish the race and then loop back around to support kids. Things like that.
That's huge.
Make this job super easy. Yeah. It's really cool. But yeah, it's great to see all the kids get to do stuff, and And again, it's also great to see kids get to go support them and go to those events for free. So absolutely.
Which is our point. You know, it's always so nice to be able to support your peers or to have your peers supporting you.
It's great to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember this being in the student section at, you know, some of the games a few years ago when I was in school. And I mean, we had all kind of cheers and stupid stuff we did that was probably really inappropriate and obnoxious, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying. Yeah, again, we're trying to build that back up, and we've even had some talks about, you know, we've got a period right in the middle of the day where it's kind of like a study hall for every kid, and we thought, could you have once a week where you pull down kids who want to be in the student section and go over the roller coaster cheer and a couple of chants and things, and talk about, like, hey, this isn't, we're not calling kids out by name, we're not talking about kids' ex and boyfriends and girlfriends, like, kind of teach them, because again, it's all, you're in school, but it's still a teachable moment.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be great, you know. And again, they might roll their eyes at that and think we don't need that, but you see the schools that have that really good student support, and it has to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Listen, kids need guided at everything.
It's absolutely
and,
right.
You know, I know sometimes they don't think they do. But
Yeah, they
but
don't think they need it, but yeah, they still might. Yeah.
We have to be couth about our heckling.
Yeah, especially, you know, in today's world, it's easy for people to get offended and their feelings hurt, and you got to take that into consideration as much as some people roll their eyes about it.
Sure, absolutely. Well, let's get into, I think, you know, being here and doing what we do here every day, I think one of the most exciting and amazing things that have come up, and of course this was, I think, a little bit accelerated by COVID, that has come up, is the media team. And you know, I didn't have any of that growing up. I grew up in a radio station, so I had that, and I had the ability to be there and experience that stuff. And God help me, I had J.J. Hale as a role model.
There you go. You turned out okay, yeah.
But you know, no, a lot of the folks took me under their wing and helped me learn things along the way. But you know, with technology now and the digital age and all of that, you know, it's a lot easier to be able to edit things and you know, put videos together and whatever. And these kids now are learning this. And I'm just going to tell you, as my experience, and then I want to talk about the media team. But I remember when we first opened the new tap room, one of the things someone said is, could you air the high school football games? And, you know, especially Jackson. We're in Jackson and whatever. And I was like, nobody is going to want to watch the Jackson high school football games, I don't think. Like, I don't, because we have a lot of customers from other places. I was like, I don't know. But I did go ahead and have our TVs set up to where we could do that. And the first high school football game comes along, and I kind of forgotten about it. And someone said, can you put the football game on? I was like, yeah, I sure can, because, you know, yes. And so I put it on one TV, and number one, I walk through, and the whole place is watching the one TV.
All right.
That's number one. So I'm like, okay, proven wrong. Number two, the commercials and the production of these games, you would not know that it wasn't on ESPN. Yeah. And I am not joking about that. Like, it is insane. And these kids are doing that.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, you're right.
It is unbelievable, and I will sing from the highest mountain about it, because they are so good at what they do and do. It's amazing.
Yeah,
that they produce this.
You're right, Jennifer, and it is. You know, it was born out of COVID. You know, I don't know there was any streaming before. I mean, it was radio before.
Sure.
And you know, with COVID, first of all, the restrictions of no one can go, and then people feeling uncomfortable going.
Yes, all of the things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Up until the point now where it's, you know, it's more of a convenience, I think, but it's also just it's a great avenue for people who aren't local to get to follow along. But
yes,
we were at the forefront of that. Adam Rippeth, who's our media teacher and
he does
runs our media club.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yes.
The kids he trains, by the time they're done with 1 year with him, they're amazing. I mean, it takes about a year to figure it out. And then some of them go on to even work with us. We have a young man named Dakota Berry. I don't know if you've met Dakota yet. He's going to be doing some stuff with Total Media. He's amazing. I mean, these people they're professionals that we're just lucky to have in a school setting. And thanks we have a great partnership. They have a great partnership with Buckeye Hills.
Yes.
So Buckeye Hills, shout out to everybody there, because the technology that is required to be able to do that production, we couldn't afford in-house. And that came from Buckeye Hills, and that's Adam's partnership with what they do there.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I wish people could stop by and see what his classroom looks like. These big, beautiful computers and kids they look like young professionals. They're editing, they're doing design, and they're doing marketing. They're editing, they're uploading, they're doing all of these things that it looks like a professional office in the second floor of a high school.
Yeah, it is wild.
And that really is one of the reasons whenever I got asked to come on was to talk about we've kind of outgrown ourselves. So we're at the point now where, like you say, what we produce at Jackson was at a level where people were wanting to give us money. They wanted to be sponsors. They wanted ads. And we're at the point where we were having to take kids out of what they wanted to do, which is production and design, and have them call a business and say, well, here's what's going to cost for this ad, or here's what's going to cost for us to do that, or
little salespeople.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, which is, I'm sure we have some kids that would love to do that.
Listen, that's an invaluable skill that they're learning,
Yes,
it
is.
All of that.
Absolutely,
is
yeah. To be able
amazing.
to be able to go in and fight for your product, absolutely.
Yes.
So I don't know. About a year ago, Eric Landrum here at Total Media reached out and said, "I've got an idea." Total Media had streamed some stuff. We did a little bit of a pilot last year with the football games, and he said, "Let's just go all in. Let's do a partnership. We're going to call it the Jackson Sports Network." And basically, what it allows us to do, and again, we're a little bit further ahead, I think, than some schools just because of where we started from with COVID, is we're going to do the production side. Total Media is going to come in with their kind of professional touch to make sure it looks like something that should be aired on TV. And then they're going to worry about the monetizing part of it, so that our kids can focus on what they want. Now, if we have kids who want to get into sales, they're going to come along for the ride, right?
By all means.
But this is allowing us to let our kids do the part they want to do, and then they're also going to build up these resumes. They're going to be interning with you guys. They're going to have not I can do this, or I could do that, or I think I could do that. They're going to be able to show clips and ads and digital portfolios of here's what I've done for 2 years working with a professional media company. So I mean, I think it's going to unlock doors for them. It's a win-win. I'm glad that our Board of Education and Mr. Howard saw the benefits of it, because it is a little scary, you're giving up some of your product, that we've done all that in-house for so long, and it's like, no, here you go. So, I mean, it's going to be, I think the average viewer is going to be, they're going to be pleasantly surprised by it just looking a little nicer and cleaner, but I think the most part is that it's going to look so much the same, that what people have come to expect, they're going to get, and I'm really excited. I think everyone is going to benefit from this.
And I agree with that 100%. It is just so win-win for everyone, and it's amazing to me. Like I mentioned our restaurant, we could put the game on, but it's so funny to watch, social media, and I've seen people post, "Hey, floating in my pool, watching the Jackson High School football game. Like, this is awesome," and it's just. It opens up the world to people. Or if you, like you said, if you live in England now or somewhere.
We've heard from grandparents that get a watch from Florida.
Sure.
We had a lady come back whose husband was a football alumnus, and she was talking about she gets to watch it from where she lives, way up in the northern part of Ohio, and she's been following along. And special shout out, she said, I'm glad they show the band at halftime, right? Which is something we had to add, that we had to figure out the audio part of that. But she said, I was in the marching band. I get to watch that now. And with this partnership with Total Media, with the additional manpower we're going to show over 55 events this year.
Yep.
So it's going to be basketball and football like we're used to, but they're going to be soccer matches. We're going to try tennis. Bass fishing is going to come back.
Yep, absolutely.
We're going to try every sport at least once, just to see what we can and can't do. Like some sports, you wonder. I'm not sure what cross country looks like, and maybe get you with a GoPro and follow them around or something. But we're going to try every sport once at least, either with Total Media's production or in house. And then all of the stuff that Total Media's not able to get to, our kids are still going to have the ability to do the old school version, which is just us and our cameras and Mr. Rippeth, Adam Rippeth, leading it, telling you go here, you do that. So again, it's great. And just to point out another advantage, I don't know if you've tried to look at other schools when they do stuff online, but a lot of schools you have to have a password, an account, put credit card information in, download different apps.
And you know what? No one can figure that out.
I would get home from games,
Literally,
I'm the last one out of school, right? So I would
Yeah.
get home from games and not be tired, and I would try to find games, and it was like, you go to 3 or 4 different social media accounts looking, and if you can't find one, there are a couple apps you can download, and then sometimes you get all the way there, and it's like, put in your credit card information.
Yeah, and you're like,
No, yeah, as much as I love high school sports, I'm not paying, extra for it. The best part of this is every event is going to be nested in Total Media. Every fan is going to know, sometimes you'll see people will link, and then they'll say, oh, don't go to that link, that's a bad link or whatever. Any home event, you'll know. You just go to Total Media.
Just save it in your computer
Yep.
or on your TV,
You
that link.
hit that
and
little
you can hit
bell,
it.
and it'll even say Jackson football's getting ready to start. You can click on it. I mean, it should be. I'm hopeful that it's going to be like a stress-free way for people to follow sports and follow our kids, and hopefully want to advertise. And again, because all that money that comes in advertising goes right back into shoulder pads and starting blocks and volleyball nets and all those things. That's how we fund our department.
It's interesting when we had Coach McGraw here and the baseball team. Well, the seniors came in, and phenomenal year for them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, our kids just kill it around here. But I asked him. I kind of knew the answer, but I was asking him to prove a point. Like, how much could baseball really cost? Like,
Yeah.
it's a bat and a ball, and everybody could share a helmet and whatever. And so he went on to explain that they have to buy brand new baseballs
With a special stamp on them.
with a special stamp on them for every game. They have to have so many. They can't really reuse them.
Right.
And when you start in your mind adding up all of these different sports and all of the things that it takes, like Ash Culbertson was in the other day talking about cross country. It's like, well, you're just running.
Yeah.
Well, there's warm-ups, there's uniforms, there's shoes, there's food, there's all of this stuff that these kids need.
Bus rides, because you don't want a kid to ever wreck trying to get to somewhere on their own. So we offer busing to every event, for kids, and entry fees. And when you have a home event, the officials that are in charge, they won't come for free. So you're paying those guys. I mean, it is amazing. And I think that took me about a year to figure out when I took this job, was just the sheer cost.
Yeah.
And I know people were frustrated when we had to go from $5 to $7 tickets a few years ago in the FAC, but I really think if they would just think about it, think about the increase in prices at grocery stores and with everything else.
Everything else.
We're not immune to that. Everything goes up in cost, and some sports are super expensive, and unfortunately some sports we either can't charge admission for, or maybe they're not as popular in this area, and you just get parents mostly showing up. So we really rely on a few sports to kind of pay for the rest, and then for businesses and fans to help help kind of with what's left over. And I know that people cringe when we talk about having to go fundraising, or people want to talk about advertising and things, but really, I think if someone would stop by, we run a pretty bare bones operation. I mean, there's not a lot of fat to cut in athletics. It's pretty much the booster clubs. Anything you see, you think, well, geez, that's an awful nice tent they have, or that's a nice whatever. That is parents going out and raising money through boosters. As a school, we pretty much can put the product on the field or put them safely on a bus, and that's about it.
Yep, and even Ash was talking about when she was in the other day, there's a cross-country boosters group, and I was like, oh, well, I guess there has to be. But you just don't hear as much about it. But, these parents work really, really hard, and so if you want to help out your local kids,
Yeah.
it's a good way to do it.
And we understand. I had this talk with another athletic director. I understand the fatigue and the frustration that I'm sure businesses in a city our size
Oh, it never ends.
feels. And I just want to know. Yeah, I know, right? And I just hope they know that we control the best we can in terms of 7 through 12 sports, right? We try to limit the number of fundraisers. We try to limit, the amount of time a fundraiser goes on. And I really tried to get away from the fundraising where it's just asking for money, best we can. Like at least offer up a product, or
There's
you and I were talking.
fundraising and then there's begging.
Yeah, there's services. Maybe rather than just asking for money, maybe our teams could say, what can we do for this business to help out, or we have that in some sports where they go and do something, clean out gutters or things
Sure.
like that. There's probably some ways we could do it a little bit better so it's not so fatiguing on people, but just realize that those funds that we do solicit, they go right back into tennis balls and golf balls and all those things. So there's really not much waste going on at all.
You mean it's not paying for your pool that you
No.
lay in all summer long and eat bonbons with Phil Howard?
Absolutely absolutely not. No, Mr. Howard has not invited me to the pool. That's for sure. No. No fluff going on there, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not. And I hope that, and I'm joking about that because I hope people understand, how ridiculous that is. Okay, so and I know Total Media is working on this like show, this like sports show. And I need to get Eric in here to talk about it, but I'm sure that you can kind of touch on it a little bit.
He's
really cool.
He's the driving force behind this, but we're hoping with this partnership that our fans won't just be tuning in right at kickoff, right, or right at tip.
This is like ESPN, man.
Well, you
We're
talked
doing the
about
whole
having
thing.
Josh McGraw in here and Ashlyn Culbertson. I would love to get all of our coaches, and some of them probably wouldn't want to, get them in front of a microphone, in front of a camera.
Absolutely.
And let them tell about their product and their kids and celebrate those kids. Eric and I have talked about doing some pregame shows, maybe like a midweek show, like a Sports Center style show where we can do highlights and things like that. And our kids can already do that. It's amazing. They might need a little help and guidance in getting it fine-tuned, but
Sure.
our kids can do that already.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to do that. I'd love to have Andy Hall come on and do some X's and O's of, this is what we did well last week, or, I'd like to have, Max or Chad come in from basketball and say, here's the last 2 games, here's what it's looked like, or here's what's coming up opponent-wise. I think that content will make it easier for those guys to go, if they have to fundraise, or to go and ask people, come out and support us, or, just to put a face with the programs. So we've got a lot going on. Eric and I have Eric has a lot of ideas. I'm trying to get from today to tomorrow, but so far everything he said, we've been like, yes, let's do it. When they were able to come do the pregame show at the stadium last year for a couple football games, we were able to get them down right on the field, kind of look like a college game day experience.
Yep.
Those things,
Super cool.
Those things I think are just going to continue to get better and better. We kind of fine tune where to put them, what time to go on, things like that. But we've got at Jackson High School, we've got a green screen, we've got some of that technology where we can do those shows. We do a weekly news show now, and I don't think it would take much of a tweak to do some kind of a weekly
Sure.
news show. And like I say, that or have them come here and they could do it in a more professional setting. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And, let's just be honest. People love sports.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, it's just a thing.
It seems like, especially some of our more popular sports here, I don't think people can get enough. I think I had a friend who I taught with years ago, Nathan Dugan, who went to Oak Hill to be their football coach, and he told me one of the first years I taught, he said, if you take a football and put it down in an empty lot in Jackson, people will bring their lawn chairs and set them up just to see what would happen. So, and as much as that's, I'm sure he was being a little silly. I mean, it's not far from the truth.
No, not really. Far from the truth.
So we've got some sports, that are really popular, but man, our community just gets behind our kids, and I think that's great. And I think this Total Media partnership. I think maybe someone will watch a couple of volleyball games on Total Media because they think I'm not going to go to volleyball, and maybe fall in love with the sport and get to know the girls, and then want to come out. So I know some people worry about losing attendance because of streaming. I see it as a potential. You're going to win. You're going
Yeah,
to gain these people.
the people that are going to go are going to go.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think this just opens up an opportunity. You know, I work every Friday night. I never get to go to a Jackson High School football
Yeah.
game. And I know that I'm not going to get
Right.
to go. But I can sit there and watch
Yep.
it, you know, with the guests. And so it's just opening up that opportunity to be able to at least participate in it if you can't be there in person.
Yeah, I get texts. My sister lives in outside of Dayton, and she'll send me texts during my son's soccer games. She'll say, "Who's number so and so?" or "What's going on?" I'm like,
Are you watching
you're
this?
invested. Yeah, they got it on their big screen. They're invested, and I like it. So I think
cool.
it's great. Yeah, I think the sky's the limit with this, and I mean, It's been good for me. This has really re-energized me this summer. You know,
Sure.
in terms of like I think this is going to be a really great year. First of all, we've got what should be amazing teams coming through, right? We've had this senior class has been wonderful since they've been second and third grade, and they're coming through and they're seniors, so they're finally the oldest kids competing against their other schools. I think it's going to be a great year on the field and on the floor, and I think people tuning in are going to be like blown away like you were when you saw us during COVID. I think people are going to be amazed at what our efforts plus the professionalism of Total Media, what it's going to look like. I think it's just going to be awesome.
It is. So look forward to it, folks, and you'll be able to see a lot of that stuff. Is it still going to be aired on the YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah,
Site.
I think the goal was, so we're actually getting ready to launch a new athletics only website, right? So right now,
Okay, and that was going to be my next question.
Okay, yeah, so
good
right
segue.
now, yeah, okay, yeah. So right now, to get to anything sports related at Jackson, just because the website was set up for academics, not athletics.
school, yeah.
You've got to make about 4 different clicks to get somewhere and find some stuff. We're getting ready to unveil. Actually, I think it's live now. It's JacksonIronmen.com. Just very simple, JacksonIronmen.com. And that is it's a full site, and our hope is that when it's done, and we're kind of waiting for the media kids to get back in session because they're going to help do some of the fine tuning of it.
Sure.
There will be links across the top for each sport. You'll be able to click on a sport and see the team photo, a coach's bio, the schedule, results, and then most importantly, at least for Total Media and for us, is that on the main screen will be an embedded Total Media link for their YouTube.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, on a Friday night, you just go to JacksonIronman.com, or if you follow the Total Media on YouTube, it'll be the first thing you see. There'll be no more clicking and hunting and pecking. It'll be there. You click on it, it should auto-populate and start.
Nice.
And there's even an app. Jackson Sports finally has an app. So how about that? So you can watch it on your phone if you're on the go. So
Really?
yeah, everything. If it all comes together, right? We're waiting on some odds and ends, but if it all comes together, it should be a really cool experience. You should be able to get your Ironman sports no matter where you are.
See, this is so awesome. And Total Media has the most amazing app. And I say this to people, and they still look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, if you're driving down the road, you lose radio stations, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. You pull up your Total Media radio app, and whatever radio station you want to listen to,
all there, yeah.
or this show, or whatever, you click on it, and it's there, and it's amazing.
I use the app driving home from away games a lot of times.
Yes.
Because it's you're out of range. You don't know what station that area carries. So
Sure.
yeah, I'll pull it up and just run it through the audio in the car. So absolutely. So
Yeah.
that should be fun. And I did want to mention just briefly. I've had a couple businesses have asked. They've had this company that we're partnering with the website, and they've said, is this legitimate or not? So if you would get a solicitation about advertising on a website, that's legitimate. We have several businesses that already are sponsors on the website and the app. There have been a couple where coaches have said, hey, we're getting calls about T-shirts and different things. That's not us. That's a scam. Unfortunately, you get these predators every summer now that want to do that. So if you ever have a question, just please don't send anybody any money until you call and talk to the office at the high school.
That's good advice.
Yeah, but this website is legit. Like I say, if you go to JacksonIronman.com, there are already several of our local businesses. You can see what it looks like. So it's working. And again, it's another example of where we're able to not have to have our kids do all of the work up front, partner with this company, let them do the the building, and then our kids get going to maintain it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
so that should be something they might see. Yeah.
So if you wanted to advertise on that website, who would you get a hold of?
Yeah, if you've not been contacted and you want to be on the website or in the pages within the website, just call. I've got a contact of a person at this company, and we can get a hold of them and have them reach out to you, or we can do it that way. Like I say, it's a 1-year trial. We're going to see how it works out, but it was just one of the complaints that I've fielded since I got this job was it was so hard to find. I can't find the girls' soccer schedule. I can't find, or later in the season when you have to do the tickets online, like for playoff games. It was always hard for us to figure out where to put that link on the school page, and people are going to different YouTube accounts and Facebook accounts. So everything will be there in jacksonironman.com. You go there, you have all that links.
Pretty package.
That is our goal.
Love that.
One spot, just like Total Media will be our one stop for streaming.
Yep.
This will hopefully be a one stop for all the information you need.
Okay.
Yep.
That's amazing.
We're trying.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
We're doing our best. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk for a minute about some of the. I know there's a pretty big project going on at the middle school with the construction of the new bye-bye porta potties.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Concession stand, handicap accessible restrooms, really, really nice stuff. How's that coming along?
Yeah, there was a big concrete pour the beginning of this week. So all the kind of a ramp going up to where you'll purchase your concessions. That's been set. I saw the guys finishing it this week. It's coming along. You're right when you say a big project. It is that
Huge
building
project.
is so big and nice. And you're right. I would guess that there were more people that went to middle school football games than any other event other than varsity football. And there were more there than there were for any of the other footballs. And maybe boys basketball would be close. But it was a shame that we had to use porta potties.
I mean, that's just not. It is 2025.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
come on, Jackson, we're better than that.
Yeah, and then having to double them up for the Pee Wee games.
Pee Wee games, yes.
So unfortunately, that was one of my other duties as a sign was to go down and check to make sure the porta potties had been cleaned out.
Ew.
Yeah. So I am more excited about this project than anybody.
I'll bet.
Yeah. So they are due to be ready for the start of the season. Like I say, the goal is to have handicapped accessible restrooms there right when you walk in. The ticket booth, the ticket window is in the booth, and then 2 giant windows for concessions. And then there should be enough room in the middle of that for storage for things. So Brian Moore and his guys have done a wonderful job with that.
Thank you to them.
Yeah,
'cause-
absolutely. And everybody who contributed. I know the sideliners contributed. The school has money invested in that, and Brian, and I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting. But that was needed maybe more than anything facilities-wise.
I think so.
That was wonderful to have that done. And like I say, it's slated to be ready to go. They had some hiccups because, like a lot of stuff in Jackson, we're in a floodplain. We had to work on that.
And this weather hasn't been helping any.
I
It's
can't imagine
ridiculous.
what they've had to juggle inside versus outside to get that stuff done. But that project is, like I say, that was our big project this year. We've gotten some quotes on some other things. Obviously every facility gets worn out over time, so we've talked about some different things in the future and trying to figure out. Unfortunately, with the way the biennial budget worked out for the schools, that might have to kick down the road some. As much as I love upgrading athletics, you can't take money away from academics for that.
No, and you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. I mean,
No.
it just is. And when budgets are cut, things get cut.
That's exactly
I mean,
right. Yeah.
it's-
So we're hopeful that down the
way
road
it is.
we'll have every kid have first of all, obviously safe is the most important thing, and after that something they can be proud of in terms of upgrades and nice new paint jobs and things. So that's our hope. But that those restrooms had to be done. That site just had so many people coming through it on a weekly basis that. It's great to get that marked off the list of to-dos.
Yeah, absolutely. And although none of us like change, right? And when we were sad to see, that little concession stand ticket booth thing had been there since, I can ever remember.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nostalgic. But
They unearthed some block that had it, and I don't know what the date is talking about, but it had the date on it, and
really?
It was so old that I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to cancel this project or build around it, but I think they decided.
It's a historical relic.
Yeah.
You can't tear it down.
We're lucky. Yeah, we're lucky the historical side didn't take it away from us, but we're able to get it taken out. And I agree. There are some of the traditions and things about
Yeah.
Jackson I love, but But facility upgrades, I'm always a fan of, right? I'll take those anytime.
For sure, absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's talk about, there's some other fun things going on. The board to celebrate the middle school teams.
Yeah, so I don't know how often our listeners are able to go to Jackson Middle School, but we had talk about a tradition, right? That had to be changed. We'll see if people like it or not, but we had a tradition that if a middle school athletic team went undefeated, they got their picture, and it said, 2015 football undefeated 8th grade or whatever, and it was they're nice, and they were lining the walls at the middle school. The problem is that it had been done so haphazardly that I was getting a lot of calls and emails like, hey, my team went undefeated and you missed it, or this hadn't been done. And really what stirred this was our 8th grade football team just finished their second consecutive undefeated season. So they didn't lose a game in 7th or 8th grade. And they wanted people wanted us to put something on the wall. So we contacted a local company, and the quote we got back was, it was so high, like I thought I heard it wrong. I guess like, to get a
come back with the real quote.
To get a framed matted picture, it was going to be in the ballpark of $300 or $400, which for one team you say, well, that's okay, and then you multiply it by all the teams who had been left out and all the future teams. And we really sat down and decided it's just, as much as that's a cool thing to do, it was really unfeasible to go ask businesses, please give us money, and then turn around and spend money on a $400 picture that you get hung. So I love the idea. So we came up with something, and I think it's going to be successful. If you're at the high school, we have a giant board that we have that's got a bunch of 8x10 pictures in it that's of all of our current sports. So it starts with fall sports, winter sports, spring sports, and it has all of our clubs and activities. So if you're in YLA, if you're in FCA, if you're in student council, all the pictures.
All the 7 million clubs that there are.
And that's why we did it, because Circleville, shout out to Circleville High School, they had one, and I loved it because it was like, look at how many of our kids do something. And I wanted to do that, so we were able, with some funds that we had a few years ago, to put that up at the high school. Well, got to talking about what could we do with the middle school that would be sustainable. So the idea was, we've got this giant board, it's got 50-some empty spots on it, and it says Jackson Middle School undefeated teams. So Seth Fain, local photographer here, has he's been taking down the old pictures and resizing them and recoloring them. A lot of them had started to break down, the inks had gone. That was another reason we were losing pictures. And he's digitized them all, and we're going to put those in. And that way we can go in, and for the cost of printing a photo, we can make up for all those people who have been left out over the years, all their teams, and then going forward we'll have room for the boards. And the best part was, it didn't cost the district a dime, right? We had a donation from the Jackson Youth Basketball League, which is JYBL. The school is good enough to let the rec basketball program use the gym in the winters on Saturday mornings free of cost.
Yes.
So we've been able to, with if you've ever come to a basketball game, you put your dollar in the bucket, and you wonder, where does that money go? Well, after we pay off all our bills, it went into a checking account, and we had raised enough that it was sitting there, and we said, what a really good idea to do. So if you go down to the middle school, hopefully by the time school starts, you'll have a brand new board. It'll say undefeated teams, and we can go back as far as we want. We've got room to grow if we need to do more. And like I say, that didn't cost the district anything. It's got a little thing at the bottom that says donated by Jackson Youth Basketball. So that's kind of cool, I thought. And again, it was just a way to celebrate those kids without it. It very quickly turned into a multi-$1,000 project to get a couple pictures.
Hey, you thought outside the box and made it happen, so
and
that's
I'm
great.
sure not everyone will be happy. I've learned that in this job, but my hope is that enough people will be happy that we can get through it.
Well, very good. And, Pete Wilson just walked in, so we have some news to get to. But I did want to ask you one more thing. I hear that we have a new mascot.
We do have a new mascot, yeah. He got unveiled this week in a photo shoot. I don't know if you got to see the pictures or not.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so we revived the block Ironmen. It's one of the things that we talked about when I took this job over. Again, this came from Adam Rippeth, was what we call brand consistency. And at Jackson, we were using, or are using, every different shade of red. We had 5 or 6 different JIs. We had an Ironman who looked like the cartoon Iron Man. We had the block Ironman. We have all these different things. So the idea was, can we get some kind of brand consistency? And we've been working toward that. And this is just kind of one more step. And almost everyone in Jackson that I've talked to loves the old block Ironman. The old logo. I don't have a copy of it here, but the one where he's kind of one.
That's the one
out,
that I know.
Yeah,
the new one's like almost more cartoon character like-ish or something.
So.
Or a video game character.
Yeah, and this is, I think this new character, we called him Oski. We named him after the Oski Wow. So Oski, the block Ironman. He's kind of cartoony.
Adrian, don't you have a picture?
Yes, you do.
I know you do, because we were looking at it yesterday.
So he's a little Lego-y, a little blocky. It's really tough to do an Ironman. It was a challenge for the company, and I have to give all the credit. That is Mr. Swackhammer worked all summer coming up with the block Ironman, and then he and Dr. Debbie Crabtree kind of went back and forth, because this money, again, I know people wonder about the finances. Oski cost us $0.
Okay.
Right, there was a grant that we had won. We received this grant, and part of it was student engagement. How can you get kids more excited about coming to school and going to school? And we floated the idea by them, because we've had, with all the success of our cheer program, Courtney Butcher had told us, and some of our girls, that a lot of these schools have a mascot when they do it, and we've never had one, right? Or we've never had one since I've been here. I think we've tried a few times. And we decided, we floated it by this grant company, and they said, that sounds perfect. You can send him to elementary schools for Right to Read Week, and you can send him to to kids who, when they do something good, and you can have engagement with sporting events.
Yeah.
So they okayed it. So the money came from a grant. So again, if people were wondering, like, are you really spending my donations on Oski the Block Ironman? No, we're not. Right, we're spending it on things that we have to have. The Block Ironman was fun, and like I say, we loved it, and we've gotten really good reception so far from the photo shoot. And now the real question, we have to find a student.
I was going to say, who's going to be the next Oski?
I don't know if we'll be begging, or if the students will be begging to do it. I don't know. We'll find out. But there are some height requirements. You see Oski's there. He's about a 6 foot tall mascot. So going to have to be at least be a certain height. But I'm excited. I know it will not be me. Right, so we'll find out. Surely that's not in my contract that I have.
I don't know. You better read the fine print.
Yeah, but no, we're excited about it.
Good. Well, Waylon, thank you so much for stopping by today. We greatly appreciate it. I know that you're busy, and you took time out of your day to come and let our viewers know what's going on, and it's also exciting.
Well, like I said, they do a lot for us, and try to stop by and be accessible. They can always stop by the school if anyone has any questions.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, Athletic Director Waylon Massie there at Jackson High School, we appreciate you stopping by, and think we do have another message or two, and then our good friend Pete Wilson is waiting in the wings, and I'll bet you he has some exciting stuff from the Jackson County Fair to talk about. So we'll be right back.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
All right, and we are back with Pete Wilson, who is our omniscient newsman.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I wouldn't quite go that far. And that's a good use of vocabulary. Okay, very good. Very good, Jennifer. All right, I'm not going to try to spell that, but you said it. All right, well, we're going to talk about the fair, but we had a major hazmat incident last night. At the time, pretty scary. Looks like, it's getting taken care of now, but at the time, you just don't know. I was at the fair last night doing some coverage. Jeremiah was off. He didn't have to cover the fair or anything else, but then this thing happened. And
of course.
So he took time out of his evening to go out and cover that. And what it was, labeled as a hazmat incident at the TA Travel Center of America. That is the former A&A truck stop.
The truck stop, yeah.
Out there on Dixon Run Road, just off US Route 35, about 6 or 7 miles east of Jackson. And of course, we had one heck of a rain last night.
Yes, we did.
I think you don't want to get too dramatic, but I think you could say it was torrential.
Yeah.
In a very short time, a lot of rain, and it did not pass the TA Travel Center out there. And what happened was, this was, going on 8 o'clock, something like. No, actually, 6:34 p.m. was when the call came in on this, but then it continued into the evening, into the nighttime hours. A lot of changes are out there on that property since it was purchased from the local owners. And one of the projects that was going on, and still going on, by the way, is they are replacing the fuel tanks out there at the gas pumps. All right.
Okay.
Totally. When I was out there last weekend, 2 big holes in the ground. Obviously, they're in transition right now. Okay. There was so much rain that went into those holes in the ground where there was diesel fuel in a tank, that all the rain in a short time made the diesel tanks flood. And so you have a combination of water and diesel fuel coming out onto the pavement there.
Oh my gosh.
And spreading into the nearby area. It went across the parking lot, the roadway, and ended up in a ditch line on the other side of Dixon Run Road.
Oh my.
Now, not only is this a cleanup situation, this is an environmental situation, because you don't want diesel fuel to get into the watershed.
Yep.
There's a ditch line right there. That ditch line may go into a stream, which goes into another stream, et cetera, and you got big problems.
Big problems.
There. So there was a major response. Jackson County EMA Director Robert Cheslewski was there. The Bloomfield Township Fire Department was there. That is in Bloomfield Township. That was Incident Command. There were other emergency responders there as well. As a result, and as a precaution, because you got this diesel fuel, you got an environmental situation.
Yeah.
I think it had stopped raining that time. I'm not sure if there was a flammable threat as well. This is diesel fuel. They decided to not only close that section of Dixon Run Road all the way from 35 to CH&D Road to keep traffic out of there, but also they evacuated the restaurant itself, now called Missy J's Cafe.
Okay.
They evacuated it, and as of late last night, that roadway was still closed. Environmental assessment going on. They did all that they could to keep the diesel, or to contain the diesel fuel from where they could see it was going. No huge fuel tanks. They don't know exactly how much of the diesel fuel escaped. They were initial estimates, and these were rough and non-confirmed, 1,000 to 2,000 gallons, and that sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Oh, that's a lot.
Right, and so, I think they did a good job getting it contained and controlled, but, certainly assessment is going on and making sure, there isn't any environmental impacts out there. Late last night, about 11:30 p.m., they didn't put a nixle out till this morning, but they actually reopened Dixon Run Road late last night, about 11:30 p.m. That was the word that Jeremiah got early this morning when he did a little follow-up. So, Adrian, I believe we have some photos we can show on that. Okay, this is just what Jeremiah was able to show last night, getting as close as he could. Just go ahead and pop them all up there, Adrian, and we'll talk about it as we can. This is the fuel pump area over there.
Okay.
The holes, I drove by them, I'd say at least 6 feet in the ground there.
Oh, wow.
Because I think they were removing tanks and replacing them. And of course, it being a truck stop, diesel tanks,
Sure.
diesel fuel tanks for sure. Okay, and I believe there were 3 shots. That's the last one. But this was, when Jeremiah got out there, it was starting to get dark, but enough light to kind of show you what the scene was. Obviously, a lot of emergency responders out there, and the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency is involved now. I'm sure that if they haven't already sent people there, they will be for analysis. So we do have a story online. I really appreciate Jeremiah working late last night, and I'm sure he did a follow-up this morning to get something out quickly to our folks. We'll have something on the radio at noon, but I do not know for sure if the restaurant has reopened. I'm guessing that it probably have because the road is open now, and there was no impact inside. So I know a lot of people go out there. There was a convenience store there as well as what has been a long-time popular restaurant. But right now there hadn't been fuel service anyway, so that of course will not continue. Okay, we will now change to the fair, and
all I could think of was the entertainment not being able to happen last night because it was some nasty rain.
I'm guessing. Now I was at the fair. I went a little later than I was going to because of all the rain, and I thought, are they going to be able to do this?
Yes.
But by between 7 and 7:30, the rain was over. It was actually pretty pleasant. It
Yeah,
cooled it down a
it
little
did
bit.
cool it down, yeah.
And Cletus T. Judd was there, and Red Thompson Jr., who is a country music fan and aficionado.
The country
thank
music
you for putting that up, Adrian. That is Cletus T. Judd. If you've never seen him, he is a nationally known name, and a great backstory on him. He was a singer himself in Nashville, and it just wasn't working out for him. Everybody wants to be a star, but very few are.
Sure.
And his career took a turn for the best when he did a parody of a song back in the 80s. I believe it was of Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw did a song called Indian Outlaw. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Cletus T. Judd did a parody called Indian In-Laws. Okay.
God.
And so it's fun. And it's not supposed to sound like Tim McGraw necessarily, but the words, the parodies, it's humorous, especially if you know those songs to begin with. And Cletus is quite a personality, very down to earth. He gave Red Thompson Jr. an interview, not one of those guys that hides in the trailer and then comes out of the door with the star on the door. Very down to earth guy. Gave Red an interview. That video, by the way, is on the Telegram Facebook page.
Great.
And excerpts of that interview will show up in a story here in the Telegram, we hope on Saturday. But he did a wonderful show. I'm sure there would have been more people there if it hadn't been for the weather. But there were some people there, and the ones who were enjoyed it. I think we had a couple other pictures there, Adrian, of the performance. Very good at audience participation, connection with the audience. He had posed their pictures with the queens afterwards, and also had the royalty members up on the stage and talk to them.
Cool.
So just a nice guy all the way around, and he's a guy who deserves it because he kept with his career and found a niche, and he is he sold over 1 million records or whatever. He is a big time guy. And he knows the stars because he worked with them, on the parodies and like that. I'm sure he, collaborated with them on that. And so they're all his friends too. But he connects very well with the everyday folks as well.
How fun!
So we'll be following up on that. Yesterday was the cattle at the junior fair.
Big day.
Big day for cattle starting in the morning. They actually did a couple of alpacas early, and then they went into all the breeds of cattle. And I'm not going to read all the winners, but we will list them. We will list the top winners in the Telegram. But one standout. You remember we mentioned Jade Roach with the goats.
Yes.
Reagan Farr from the Farr family. Rochelle, the former Rochelle Lewis, is the mother now, and Greg Farr, the daddy. And then the Farr family and the Lewis family have been involved in local farming for a long time. And those three kids, Gage, Maddie, and Reagan, have just been outstanding performers at the county fair.
Yep.
And this year, Reagan, now listen to this, she had the grand champion market beef steer. She had the grand champion beef breeding steer. She was the overall beef showman.
Oh, so swept it all?
The overall cattle showman, and she was the overall beef breeding showman. She won that category
Okay.
of showman. Then all the cattle showman winners, there's 5 or 6 of them, compete somehow. I don't know how they do that. And then so she won the overall award. So she won 4 big awards.
Holy
So
moly.
congratulations to her, Reagan. Once again, that's Reagan Farr. Okay, I want to point. I want to say. I want to thank everybody at the fair. They've been great to work with the telegram and the radio, as you know, as we try to cover the fair the best we can. There's so much going on there.
Oh my, yes.
But leadership positions, it all comes back on them. I want to mention them, but so many people behind the scenes, and they will probably feel modestly about me talking about them putting their pictures up. But the Fair Board president is Chris Walls.
Yep.
Been with the Fair Board for a long time, always friendly. He was in the spotlight during the opening ceremonies and like that, speaking and also accepting commendations and certificates and proclamations and all like that. But he is a really good fella.
He's awesome.
And does a lot in the community as well. And he took on Fair Board president for the first time. For the 3rd year now, Maddie Allman, who of course we've had on Main
Love
Street
our
TV.
sweet Maddie.
There she is. She is a sweet girl. This is her 3rd year as the extension educator, 4-H youth development. I always hate to write the stories about Maddie because then I got to remember her title. I got to look it up every time because it's a mile long.
It's really long.
But she is doing a great job following in the footsteps of some other great 4-H agents
Yep.
that we've had over the years. But I wanted to mention and put their pictures up because they have some major responsibilities there. A person I don't have a picture of, but I wish I did. I came across this information last night talking to some of the folks in the Junior Fair office. Dale Gillen has been on the livestock committee for a long time. He's a farmer from Hamilton Township there in the Oak Hill School District.
Okay.
He's been involved with the fair for a long time. I didn't know how long, but last night I found out he's been on the livestock committee for 45 years.
Holy
No,
moly.
and I talked to Guy Wall, who was the Grand Marshal, been on the Fair Board 39 years, but Dale is the president. He's just, not nominal or anything like that. Major responsibility, and so, I wanted to acknowledge him as well. So we're running out of time, but tonight, or rather today, at the Jackson County Fair, we will have rabbits the first part of the day, and then we will have swine the last part of the day, and then that will be all of the animals in the show arena, the Joe Morgan Memorial Show Arena. Tomorrow will be the big Showman of Showman contest, where the showmanship winners of the different breeds and animals compete against each other. That's in the morning. And then the Junior Fair livestock sale at 3 p.m. on Friday, and that'll go deep into the evening. That's the culmination of the Junior Fair week. And, of course, the Brent Jenkins Memorial Demolition Derby on Saturday night. So is there any last-minute things to tell you here as we're running out of time? I do want to say that the Vinton County Junior Fair is coming. The full fair kicks in on Monday with midway activities, the booths, the concessionaires, the rides all going. But there'll be some kind of like pre-fair activities going on as early as Friday, including the Junior Fair Parade on Friday. And that's not at the fairgrounds. That's in downtown MacArthur and on the residential street. It starts at the old high school and ends at the old high school. Lineup is at 5 p.m. The parade starts at 6:30, and that kind of kicks it off. And, of course, very much a fair theme with fair units in that parade. If you want to be in that, you should register online on the fair's website or fill out the form, print it off, and bring it to the fair lineup. Okay, so many other things to tell you. We don't have to show you Oski, the new mascot, because Adrian put it up there when Waylon is there. I do want to say this. For Waylon, I have to work with Waylon a good bit, not just on the news, but because, the broadcasting and like that. Jackson High School has been blessed with outstanding athletic directors over the years. Of course, the late Bob Kite, and then Pat Stevens, who did so much for several years after Bob, including helping get Jackson in the Frontier Athletic Conference.
Yes.
Did a great job, and now we've got Waylon Massie. We're so lucky to have him. I know he was one heck of a social studies teacher, and that's a loss, but he's also one heck of an athletic director and a nice guy too. I want to
That's
say
exactly
that.
right.
And it's kind of like being a 4-H agent during the fair, being an athletic director during the busy sports season.
Yep.
There's a lot on you that
Oh, man.
people don't realize.
Yes.
So congratulations, and we're so glad that he is an Ironman.
Yep, you got it. All right, well, Pete, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks to Waylon Massie for stopping by. It's really fun to talk with him, find out some of the great things going on there at the school and with sports. So we will be back here tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to get out to the fair if you can, and we'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.